Book called Chandrayaan were built by Mullah Daud. It's the oldest book in Awadhi language. However, the critical appreciation of Asian books was still written in Sanskrit language. It was being still written in the Sanskrit language. Languages were being developed. They transformed into Hindi and Gujarati during Delhi Sultanate, right? આ રીતે એને સી ડેવલપમેન્ટ કરવામાં આવી છે. Heroic works like Alha, Uday and Visaldev Raso were popular at that time. A book called Chandrayaan written by Mullah Daud is the oldest book of Awadhi language. Now what is Awadhi language? That is again a new language, right? That we have to find it out on Google on which way how it was being written. And however, the appreciation of the Asian books was still written in Sanskrit language. જે જૂનું languages હતી, right? And એનું જે appreciation, that means whether the particular communication that was written was good, average or bad, that was again being judged by Sanskrit language. રાઈટ એટલે ઘણી બધી લેંગ્વેજીસ મિક્સ થઈ ગઈ, ડેવલપ થઈ ગઈ, પોતાની રીતે પોતાનું ડેવલપમેન્ટ કરવા માંડી એઝ પર ધેર ઓન સ્ટેટ્સ, રાઈટ? ઓકે, નેક્સ્ટ, પર્શિયન લેંગ્વેજ વોઝ ધ લેંગ્વેજ ઓફ કોર્ટ ઓફ ડેલી સલ્તનત. પર્શિયન લેંગ્વેજ, રાઈટ? પર્શિયન પીપલ જે હોય ને એ જ્યારે ડેલીમાં રૂલ કરતા હતા, that language was being spoken at the Delhi Sultanate. Consequently, many Persian words are seen in Indian languages. Many historians emerged out during this period, right? Many historical people came out during this period, during Delhi Sultanate. During Delhi Sultanate, we got proper descriptions of Indian history through Turkish writer in Persian language. Turkish writer in Persian language, right? You just see the difference of the languages which were being spoken at that point of time. Right? Proper description of Indian history when it was written at the first level, it was in Turkish language, right? It was in Turkish writer in Persian language, right? See, this is where the history of India was written, by a Turkish writer in Persian language. Underline that statement, right? Underline that statement. Ziauddin bin Barani wrote the Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi, which was given a detailed account of the region of Khilji and Tughluq kings, and he also wrote a political theory called Fatwa-e-Jahangiri. Underline the last sentence also, right? I'm repeating it again. Ziauddin bin Barani, right? Even the name sounds, like an Mughal era. Wrote the Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi, which gave a detailed account of the region of Khilji. Detailed account region of the Khilji. આપણે ખિલજીનું એક મૂવી જોયું હતું, right? એ એનાની અંદર, right? And Tughluq kings, and he also wrote a book on political theory called Fatwa-e-Jahangiri. He also wrote a book called Fatwa-e-Jahangiri. Underline that statement also, right? Okay, just give me one more second, okay? I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, coming back again. See, that was Khilji and Tughluq kings, right? He wrote the first political theory, that is the book called Fatwa-e-Jahangiri. એટલે Indian particular આપણે જે કહીએ ને description of history, that was again written by a Turkish writer in Persian language, and Ziauddin Barani, એક વ્યક્તિ હતો, wrote Tarikh-e-Firoz. That means he gave a detailed information of the account of the region of the Khilji era. Khilji એક મૂવી હતું, right? I don't know the name of the actor, but anyway movie આવ્યું હતું, right? So that was the thing. At that point of time, the detailed history was being written, and he also wrote a book on political theory called Fatwa-e-Jahangiri, right? Everything એ સમયની અંદર કોણ રૂલ કરતું હતું, કયા સેશન્સ હતા, right? Who was the king and who got the victory in which places, and all that things was being written, right? હવે તમે જુઓ, તમે પહેલાની હિસ્ટ્રી તમે સર્ચ કરશો, right? So there were Britishers in India. હવે એની પહેલા તમે જોશો તો there were Mughals in India. right? You come to Goa, there was Portuguese people, that is જેટલા દરિયા કિનારા છે સાઉથ ઓફ ઇન્ડિયામાં, right? When you go to the down south of India, you find lot of Christians people, right? India is a mixed culture. India is a mixed culture, right? ઘણા બધા વર્ષોથી બ્રિટિશરો ઇન્ડિયામાં રૂલ કર્યું, right? So we actually, are in mixed outcome of the Indian economy, right? આપણે જે Indian economy, because see, the Indians which were actually there, they were very less in numbers, right? When it was being ruled by the Mughal people, and it isn't part of the history, or when it was being ruled by the British era, Indians ની સંખ્યા બહુ ઓછી હતી. They used to live in the villages, but majority of the people were there in India at the Mughal. British પહેલા એક Mughal era હતો, તો એ બધા લોકો ઇન્ડિયામાં રહેતા, right? એટલે જેમ જેમ સ્ટેટ્સ બાયફર્કેટ થતા ગયા, એમ લેંગ્વેજીસ એ બાયફર્કેટ થતી, right? And this is how the system was being developed. So we cannot properly say કે આ લેંગ્વેજ આ જગ્યાએથી જ આવી. It was developed through communication, right? From different cultures of different era, right? Now we speak English, right? Because majority of the world, that is આખા વર્લ્ડમાં સૌથી common language જે બોલાતી હોય, that is again English. See, it is been changing day by day. જેમ જેમ situation change થાય છે, એમ languages પણ change થાય છે. Because એ એક પર્ટિક્યુલર એરા જ્યારે જતો રહે છે અને બીજો એરા આવે છે, તો એ બીજું કમ્યુનિકેશન સિસ્ટમ ડેવલપ કરે, right? So this is how we are adjusting again towards our Indian economy. એ પ્રમાણે આપણે લેંગ્વેજીસ સેટ કરીને બોલીએ છીએ. You go to Ahmedabad, see, હું તમને અમદાવાદનો જ એક્ઝામ્પલ આપું, you will find lot of people talking in Hindi, right? Out of 10 I find 6 people talking in Hindi. What is Ahmedabad? It is a part of Gujarat. Still many people are talking in Hindi. Why? Because the culture of that particular city is changing. So the language is also changing. Ahmedabad ગુજરાતનો જ ભાગ છે ને, છતાંય મેજોરિટી પીપલ હિન્દી બોલે છે. ગુજરાતી બહુ ઓછું જોવા મળે છે ત્યાં. સૌરાષ્ટ્રમાં જ ગુજરાતી. You go to Ahmedabad, you will find people definitely talking in Hindi. Why? It is as per the culture. Then at one point of time in Ahmedabad there would be 1 or 2 people out of 10 who will be talking in Gujarati, or then 8 people would be talking in Hindi. And after again few times, that is the few years, that when you 2030 or 40, let's say for example, out of 10 people will be talking in Hindi, right? This is how the situation changes. હવે તમને આઈડિયા આવ્યો કે હું શું કહેવા માંગુ, right? આ રીતે બધી સિચ્યુએશન ચેન્જ થાય છે, લેંગ્વેજીસ ચેન્જ થાય છે, right? Because people are transforming from here to there. You find many people of different states living in Ahmedabad, right? This is how they change the system, they change the culture of the particular city, and again it ends in changing the language also, right? This is what it is. Moving ahead, the most outstanding literary figure of this period was Amir Khusro. He was a poet, historian, mystic, saint, and composer of the music. Underline that statement, right? Outstanding figure of this period, that means a erano સૌથી મહાન વ્યક્તિ, એનું નામ અમીર ખુશરો હતું, right? He was a poet હતો, historian, લેખક, history લખતો હતો, right? Mystic, saint, સંત હતો, and composer of the music, a multi-talented person named Amir Khusro. He was also a disciple of Nizamuddin Aulia, again Mughal era, right? He wrote the Ashika, the Nas, Sipar, the Qiratul Sadaya, the Khazinul Futr, and several other works of poetry. આ બધી એની poetry છે. શું છે એની poetry, right? He took great pride of being an Indian. See, Mughal era ma, he took a great pride of being an Indian, right? And praised India as the earthly paradise. He said that India is a paradise. Paradise means heaven. Paradise means heaven, right? He praised India's flora, fauna, its beauty, its building, its knowledge, and its learning, right? India na બહુ વખાણ કરતો હતો Amir Khusro. He said that India is a heaven because you find fauna, flora, that means good people, with beautiful languages, with beautiful characters, buildings, knowledge, and the learnings also. He strongly believed that in many respects the essence of Hinduism resembled Islam. He used to say that Hinduism resembled Islam, right? એટલે જે કલ્ચર છે હિન્દુઇઝમનું, that is the same as Islam, Amir Khusro said all these things, right? બંને એક જ સરખા છે, બેયમાં કંઈ વધારે ફેર નથી. He considered Hindwali એટલે mix of Hindu and Islam, right? The Hindi spoken around the region of Delhi, its mother tongue, and composed many verses in it. He composed verses in many languages. He wrote a number of bilingual Qatarians and verses in Hindi and Persian language, Hindi language, right? Amir Khusro, that was being written in India in Delhi state, right? The health tradition started by him continued for centuries. It continued for centuries, right, after him. The regional kings gave a great impetus to the religion, languages and literature. Bhakti saints preached in the languages of people. Many of them, like Kabir, were great poets. Sant Kabir, right? He was again a great poet. Bhojpuri and Awadhi were the major dialects during those days. The work of Kabir are chiefly composed in Sadhu Khadi. Among them, Kabir's dohas, Kabirna doha, right? Gavana hoy, have become a part of folk lore. Folk culture જ્યાં હોય, right? ત્યાં આ ટાઈપના songs ગવાતા હોય છે, right? Malik Muhammad Jayasi wrote Padmavat in Awadhi. Padmavat, right? Padmavat, right? Malik Muhammad Jayasi, again in Mughal era, wrote Padmavat in Awadhi language, right? There are many other poets of Awadhi in that period, right? ઘણા બધા poets હતા જેના નામ બુકની અંદર આપેલા નથી, but different statusમાં different languages through એમને poems through communication develop કરેલું છે. Even today, right, Sant Kabir's dohas are being sung as a part of the song where folk culture is still present, right? રાજસ્થાનમાં આપણે જોઈએ તો folk culture એમનું પોતાનું છે, right? તો જો એમના ગીત તમે સાંભળજો તમને મજા આવશે સાંભળવાની, but you will not be able to understand what they actually are singing, because it is their culture, it is their language, right? So there is nothing special for them, but we enjoy because it is a part of the culture. It is a part of the culture. So there are 28 states in India. Different states, different languages, different cultures. Amongst them, Sanskrit was the initial language. Sanskrit પહેલા Persian language, પછી પાછો British era, right? પછી પાછો અત્યારે Hindi language, and again now English is the most common language. કેવી languages change થતી. And right now in Gujarat, again Hindi is being given more importance in big cities. People are again talking in Hindi, right? So this is how the systems and the education systems are changing. The communication is changing, right? Moving ahead. Moreover, the well-known Ramcharitmanas by Tulsidas, again Tulsidas was a poet, right? Was written in Awadhi. There were many other writers of Awadhi language. Besides Hindi language, literature in other languages also developed. In Bengali, now we are going to the Bengal side, right? The Ramayana by Kriti Vasa and the 100 of lyrics by the famous poet Chandidas were written under the patronage of the rulers. Now see again Ramayana, right? See, in Bengali, underline that statement. The Ramayana by Kriti Vasa, and the 100 of lyrics. Ramayana lekhu 100 of lyrics lekhi in the Bengali language, right? By the famous poet Chandidas. Were written under the patronage of the rulers. એટલે એ ટાઈમમાં જે rulers હતા એ ટાઈમની અંદર પણ રામાયણ લખાયેલું હતું. Kriti Vasa, right? That in West Bengal, in the Bengali language, right? See, માણસ જ લખે, right? જે પણ books છે that has been written by humans in their form of understanding in different languages. With Saint Chaityanas, the tradition of writing devotional song began. Narsi Mehta wrote devotional songs in Gujarati and Namdev and Sant Ekanand in Marathi. Underline that statement. Narsi Mehta wrote devotional songs, right, in Gujarati, and Namdev, both Narsi Mehta and Namdev wrote devotional songs. And Sant Eknath, there is one more person, Sant Eknath, in the Marathi language. There were important development in Kashmir under Zainuluddin Bidin, under whose patronage many Sanskrit works like the Mahabharata and Rajtarangini were translated into Persian. See, now again the particular Mahabharata was initially written in the Sanskrit language and it was translated into the Persian language. Right? Persian people, Persian language, right? A language માં પણ મહાભારત ટ્રાન્સફર થયું હતું, right? That is from Kashmir, right? Many states and many languages and many different poets, many different persons, Mahabharata, Ramayana, right? And many other scholarical poems written by different poets during their time. In the region of King Vijayanagar, Sanskrit language continued to develop. However, this was an important period for the growth of Telugu literature. Raja Krishna Deva Raya, the great king of Vijayanagar, was also a Telugu and a Sanskrit writer. Underline that statement. Raja Krishna Deva Raya, right? The great king of Vijayanagar was also a Telugu. That means he belongs to Tamil. And he was also a Sanskrit writer. He wrote Amukta Malyad, right? That was the particular poem. As in art and architecture, the Mughal period also saw a great development in literature, right? Our Mughal era je hato, right, before the British era, that again saw a great development in literature, right? Changes બહુ બધા થતા હતા એ સમયની અંદર. Babur, the first Mughal ruler, was of the pioneer of Turkish poetry. Turkish language માં Turkish poetry ને develop કરવામાં who was the main person? જેણે ફાઉન્ડેશન કરેલું હતું? He was Babur, right? The first Mughal ruler was one of the pioneers of Turkish poetry and also the author of very valuable autobiography, right? પોતાના વિશે પણ લખતો હતો. Tuzuk e Babur in Turkish. That is why the name is like this. Tuzuk e Babur in Turkish, right? Language છે તો એ પ્રમાણે એના verses અથવા એના particular words, which was later translated into Persian entitled as Baburnama. Underline that statement also, right? Gulbadan Begum, sister of Emperor Humayun. Humayun's sister, that is Gulbadan Begum, Humayun's sister. This can be asked in an MCQ or match the following, right? I'm repeating it again. Underline that sentence also. Gulbadan Begum, sister of Emperor Humayun, wrote Humayun Nama. એની સિસ્ટરે એના ભાઈ માટે હુમાયુન નામા લખેલું હતું. Jahangir wrote his great autobiography. Jahangir, right? એ પોતાની autobiography લખતો હતો. The Tuzuk-e-Jahangiri and Aurangzeb also was a prolific writer and the last Mughal emperor, right? Again, Aurangzeb was a prolific writer. He was a very strong writer. Prolific means strong, right? Related more to the work. And last Mughal emperor, that is Bahadur Shah Zafar, was an Urdu poet. So the last Mughal emperor, Mughal era no end જ્યારે થયો ત્યારે last Mughal emperor was Bahadur Shah Zafar, right? And he was a poet. Which poet? Urdu poet. He was an Urdu poet. See, બધા poets જ છે, right? Languages જે develop થઈ, right? અલગ-અલગ સ્ટેટ્સમાં અલગ-અલગ રીતે જે લોકો કમ્યુનિકેટ કરતા હતા, and when they started to write, every writer initially started with the poem. Why? Because of the poem. Because poem contains a message of a communication, what the writer is trying to say. અને પછી ધીમે ધીમે એ બધી બુક્સમાં ડેવલપ થતી હતી, right? So we cannot say કે આ book આમાંથી આવી કે આ book આમાંથી આવી. It came from a source through which there was an idea in a mind of the particular writer, right? એને જે લખ્યું એ ધીમે ધીમે ડેવલપ થતા આ બુક અહીંયા સુધી પહોંચી ગઈ in different languages, right? આપણી જે હોલી બુક હોય, right? હરેક પર્ટિક્યુલર રિલિજનની એક અલગ અલગ બુક છે, તો આપણી લેંગ્વેજમાં આપણને જોવા મળે છે? Yes or no? Yes. If you want Bhagavad Gita in Gujarati, you can get it. If you want Ramayana in Gujarati, you can get it. If you want Quran and Bible, you can get it, right? So as the system developed, the communication process also developed in our own languages, right? So look at the last era, that is the Mughal era, that is Bahadur Shah Zafar, right? એ જે era હતો એનો end હતો, એનો last king, he was an Urdu poet, right? Hindi literature made significant progress during Akbar's regime. Tulsidas and Surdas wrote this period. The great poet Keshwadas wrote on love and separation. Right? There was one more poet who wrote the poems related to love and separation. Related to love and separation. Rahim's dohas are still popular all over India. Rahimna je dohas, je geet gawai in the form of poems, are still popular in the whole India. Many noteworthy books were written during this period. Abdul Fazl wrote the N.A. Akbari and the Akbarnama. Abdul Fazl Akbarnama lakhelu હતું, right? Underline that sentence, particular sentence also. N.A. Akbari gives details of the Indian customs. N.A. Akbari, એ નામનો વ્યક્તિ છે, right? He wrote the details of the Indian customs, traditions, manners, religions, philosophy, economic conditions and almost every aspect of life. જે ઇન્ડિયન્સ હતા મુગલ એરાની અંદર, એના વિશે પણ એક વ્યક્તિ લખવાવાળો હતો, રાઈટ? એનું નામ છે આઈન એ અકબરી. આઈન એ અકબરી. અને એ વ્યક્તિએ ઇન્ડિયાના લોકોની લાઈફ ઉપર સ્ટડી કરી. Every aspect of life, whether it was the custom, that is the tradition, whether it was the manner, that is the standard of living, whether it was the religion, whether it was the philosophy, or whether it was the economic condition. Ain A. Akbari studied each and every aspect of the Indian people who lived in the Mughal era and again wrote a book on those people. Right? As a historical work, it is perhaps unparalleled, right? આપણે વિચારી ન શકીએ અને આપણે એને મેજર પણ ન કરી શકીએ, because today's standard of living, today's economic condition, today's religions, today's people are much more different of that people which were 100-200 years before. Right? એ માણસોને આપણી જે અત્યારે કરંટ જનરેશન છે એને તમે કમ્પેર કરી શકતા નથી. That is why they are unparalleled, right? But still those people used to exist even in that era, right? They used to write poems or books on the people, how they live, how they believe, what is their religion, what is their economic condition, right? So that we can get the knowledge, right? અત્યારે જો તમને કેવું સમજાય છે કો મુગલ એરામાં આવું હતું, બ્રિટિશ એરામાં આવું હતું, હવે ના લખ્યું હોત એ ટાઈમે તો અત્યારે તમારી પાસે આ નોલેજ ના હોય. એ ક્યાંક લખેલું છે તો એ ટ્રાન્સફોર્મ થતું જતું આ બુકની અંદર આવી ગયું. And that is what you are learning. That is again written in English language. See, પાછું લખેલું એસએસની ટેક્સ્ટબુકમાં ઇંગ્લિશમાં, right? This is how it changes, but still you get the knowledge. That is important. That is important, right? Mughal era ને આપણે કાંઈ લેવા દેવા નથી. It has been gone, but still it represents a part of the history. And thanks to those people who have written all these literatures and these languages, and that is why we get the knowledge and we are able to understand what every language is. બાકી આપણને કંઈ ખબર જ ના પડતી હોત કઈ લેંગ્વેજ કેવી રીતે બોલવી. એમણે બધું લખ્યું, પોએમ્સ થ્રુ એક્સપ્લેન કર્યું, ડેવલપ કર્યું, and that is why we are able to get the knowledge of different languages which has been spoken. Right? Moving ahead. Abul Fazl's brother Faizi was a great Persian poet and he translated many Sanskrit works into Persians. Akbar had established an independent department for translation of Sanskrit works like the Mahabharata and Ramayana, the Atharva Veda, the Bhagavad Gita and the Panchtantra. Akbar એક special particular એક department ઉભો કર્યો હતો, right, during his era, who used to translate the languages, that was Sanskrit works, right? Sanskrit works માંથી languages ને ટ્રાન્સફર કરતો હતો. કઈ વસ્તુને? મહાભારત, રામાયણ, અથર્વ વેદા, ભગવદ ગીતા and Panchtantra. Akbar during his era used to translate each and everything. One of the most significant development during the medieval period was the birth of Urdu language. Again an Urdu language was being born, right, during the development of medieval period. That is initial level એ જ્યારે languages transform થતી હતી ત્યારે Urdu language નો birth થયો. How it was being born we don't know, right? But see, it is clearly mentioned birth of Urdu language, એક નવી language જ જન્મી ગઈ. A language કેવી રીતે આવે? When people communicate. So now we cannot ask the question who was the first person to speak Urdu language, but it was developed as per the time. In the medieval literature, right? and many people are learning Urdu even today. This new language soon developed into one of the richest modern Indian languages. It produced great poets like Wali Mir Dar, Mir Taqi Mir, Nazir Akbari, Abdullah Khan, Ghalib Iqbal, and others. Right? Many writers were there during that particular time. Right? Many languages, many communication power, many medieval literature processes, many poets, many poems, many transformation of languages through communication, and that is why we are getting all this education right now. જો આ બધું ના લખ્યું હોત, લેંગ્વેજીસ ડેવલપ ના થઈ હોત, તો આપણને આ એજ્યુકેશન સિસ્ટમ અત્યારે ઝીરો થઈ ગઈ હોત. We would never be able to learn anything, right? So thanks to those people, because of them we are learning different languages. We are learning different languages, and that makes our knowledge strong. That makes our knowledge strong, right? And the last, that is Urdu prose also developed in the early 18th century when the translation of the most historical works from Sanskrit into Urdu began, right? જ્યારે એ medieval literature માં ઉર્દુ language નો born થયો હતો, ત્યારે Sanskrit language diminished. Sanskrit language was diminished. Sanskrit language was getting now very less, and it was being transformed into Urdu language. At the time of its original prose work in Urdu was written by Muhammad Hussain Azad, and Darbari-e-Akbari is one of the best work of Urdu language, right? Muhammad Hussain Azad and Darbari-e-Akbari is one of the best works of Urdu language. Underline that sentence also, right? Urdu language જેમ જેમ આગળ વધતી ગઈ એમ Sanskrit language diminished, right? Okay, so now moving towards the new topic. We still have 5 minutes left, right? There are 4 things that we need to discuss, right, in the last topic, that is the Asian universities of India. 4 universities છે. કેટલી છે? 4. First is Nalanda, second is Takshashila, third is Varanasi, and fourth is Vallabhi. We'll try to finish 2 today. 2 પૂરી કરવાની આપણે આ સેશનમાં ટ્રાય કરીશું. 4 universities છે, right, which are related to books, which are related to libraries, how it developed, who particular developed it, how many books were there. We are going to learn in these 2 parts, that is Nalanda University and Takshashila University. See, Nalanda University no picture પણ આપેલું છે at that point of time, how it was developed. Now let's look into the textbook. Asian Nalanda University was situated in Batagaon village of Patna district in Bihar. Underline that statement, right? સૌથી જૂનામાં જૂની Asian University, Nalanda University, is in Bihar, right? The Nalanda gave more importance in the Buddhist and Jain traditions. સૌથી importance Nalanda University જે આપેલું છે એ 2 languages ને છે, that is the Buddhist and the Jain traditions. This Asian University also became the pilgrimage of Jains, as Mahavir Swami had performed 14 Chaturmas here, right? Jain માટે બહુ important place છે, that is Nalanda. In the 5th century, Kumar Gupta had built a monastery here. 5th century, underline that statement, right? Kumar Gupta had built a monastery here. Since then, fame of Nalanda had increased. There were thousands of priceless treasures of manuscripts, એટલે જે લખેલું હોય ને એ manuscripts. This was a pious place of Indian culture. Students from various parts of the world used to come here for the study purpose. સૌથી જૂનામાં જૂની university, that is the Nalanda University, that is in Bihar, and it influenced 2 religions, that is Buddhist and Jainism, right? And many people from the world, that is the students, come over here for the study purpose. The great traveler Huan Tissang also came here. Chinese, right? Name looks Chinese. Today, only the ruins of the great university, but amidst the ruins one can visualize the glorious cultures of India. Right now, it does not exist, right? But in the remaining parts, right, which is still there, which has been kept as a treasury because of the Asian monuments, right? So, ये तमें खाली ना small vision जो ना तो पर तमने idea आवी जाए how big it must be in that era. Right? A student who passed out from the Nalanda was considered as an ideal student of India, right? Engineering માં કેમ IIT હોય, MBA માં કેમ IIM હોય, IIM માંથી MBA કર્યું, IIT માંથી engineering કરી. So we have got a very respectable place in our country because we are an IIT or an IIM MBA students, right? So એ સમયની અંદર those students who who cleared from Nalanda were considered to be an ideal student of the whole nation, that is India. During 5th to 11th century, education was best at Nalanda. Underline this particular sentence. 5th to 11th century, right? Education was best at Nalanda. And abroad Nalanda. And in India at that time, at the best libraries of the world were available. Many students of India and abroad used to come for study and research in the library of Takshashila, right? Majority of the books were there in the library. And ઘણા લોકો નાલંદા યુનિવર્સિટીમાં research purpose માટે પણ આવતા હતા, right? Huan Tusen took 657 books from here to China. See, I told you, it looks like Chinese, right? And he took 657 books from Nalanda to China. From Nalanda to China. Huan Tusen visited in the 7th century, right? 5th to 11th century in the under, right? Education system was the best. And Huan Tusen visited Nalanda University, that is in the 7th century. That is in the 7th century. There were 7 huge halls in the university, 300 rooms for delivering lectures. 300 room હતા where the lecture process was going on in the Nalanda University. Right? એનો જે સમયગાળો હતો that was from the 5th to the 11th century, right? And Huan Tusen took 657 books from Nalanda, that is from Bihar to China, right? Special monasteries were built for dwelling of students. Many villages were donated for university sustenance. Food and clothing facilities were provided free of cost. Food and clothing facilities were provided free of cost, right? From the earnings obtained from those villages. Its books repository, that is the library area, was known as Dharmaganj. The library area of Nalanda University was known as Dharmaganj. Underline that statement. And during 5th to 11th century, Nalanda was reputed as well as the esteemed center of the education, right? It was one of the best century, that is the 5th to 11th century, and Nalanda University was considered to be the best place for education, right? The best place for education. Right now it does not exist as it used to exist in that time, right? But still, during the 5th and the 11th century, Nalanda was the best university in India. રાઈટ અત્યારે કેમ IIM અને IIT છે, ઇન્ડિયન ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટ ઓફ ટેકનોલોજી, ઇન્ડિયન ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટ ઓફ મેનેજમેન્ટ, કે ભાઈ ત્યાંથી કોઈ MBA અથવા એન્જિનિયર થાય સો દે ગેટ ધી જોબ વેરી ઇઝીલી ઇન ઇન્ડિયા, રાઈટ? કોઈ પણ પર્ટિક્યુલર સ્ટેટમાં જોબ મળી જાય, રાઈટ? વેરી ઇઝીલી. સો એ સમયની અંદર દેટ ઇઝ ધ ફ્રોમ 5th to 11th century, a student who passed out from Nalanda University was considered to be an ideal student of India. Was considered to be an ideal student of India. Okay, so we are stopping over here, right? The remaining 3 parts we are going to discuss in the next session, right? So if you have any doubts, you can ask. કોઈ પણ doubts છે? Any doubts? Everything clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the remaining 3 universities we are going to discuss in the next session. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, અને જે 26 તારીખે તમારે એક્ઝામ, yes,
No, sir, you speak first. I'll tell you later.
okay, so your exams are starting from 26th, right? 26th થી તમારી એક્ઝામ સ્ટાર્ટ થાય છે સ્કૂલમાં, જે પણ છે 80 માર્ક્સનું તમારું જે છે. તો આવતીકાલે SS માં કેટલા ચેપ્ટર્સ છે એ સિલેબસ હું તમને આપી દઈશ. ઓકે?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now any questions?
No, sir.
No questions?
No, sir.
Where is that girl? કોકને કંઈક ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછો તો. Okay, the next ma'am is waiting. Last time, no questions.
No, sir.
Okay then, the ma'am is waiting. I need to leave. Okay? Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye, sir.